Welcome everyone, Simon here from the Whales of Wall Street. Guys, we are looking here today at Proton XPR. So we're trying to be quite consistent with this particular crypto asset. Of course, it's quite popular out there. It's something that we got involved with a few months back. Of course, there's many out there that have held this for even longer. But we've seen some good rides on this. We'll go into the chart in a second. But first of all, some major news here. We sold our first NFT ever, and our first through Proton Market. Peter the Pebble has finally made a new home. Thank you to the Huff here, who has paid 5 USDC for this amazing NFT opportunity. Of course, shelling the pebbles here. 9 left in this particular edition of Peter the Pebble. So yeah, very excited to see that. If you are interested, you can go via our WOWs section on the Proton Market and to Pebble Pals. So we'll see the development of this. We've got a load more characters coming, and hopefully we're trying to develop, or if anyone knows anyone in particular, let us know in the comments below. But we're trying to seek someone that might be able to help us out with maybe an AR mobile game or something. I'm thinking of like people going around the beach and basically being able to photograph or video their existing landscape using AR, and the pebbles come to life and you can collect them and share them and swap them. You can even throw them, obviously not at people because that's dangerous, and to be honest it wouldn't hurt anyway because it's virtual, but maybe that'll be quite amusing actually, who knows. But that's the kind of idea I thought around it with my power at work, and we'll see how it goes. But I think it's very early stages, but I'm looking forward to seeing how that develops. So let us know in the comments below if you are loving the Pebble Pals idea. So guys, no major updates from XPR in terms of news aspects. So we can jump straight into the chart on this one and see where we have gone with XPR in the last couple of days since the last video. Do smash that like button if you like what you're hearing and seeing, and make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. Guys, just to throw that as well, we made the massive milestone of 4,000 subscribers already. Cannot believe it. Thank you so much for your support. We absolutely love doing this. It's good fun. We're learning along the way as well, and it's fantastic to be engaging with you guys on a regular basis. So thank you so much for the support and joining us on the journey. So guys, let's take a look at XPR Proton here. If you remember in the last video, we put in these potential buy opportunities that we were looking at personally, and we're very pleased to announce that we managed to hit this one in our own USDT bag. Now, we mentioned in the previous video, these aren't massive differences, but any dip in my opinion is a win. Very exciting to see any kind of DCA opportunity, that's dollar cost averaging, for those that don't know, in the drop downs as well as the movements up as well. So we've hit that area. I don't think we hit this slightly lower one, which was basically aimed at just under 1 cent, but these lower points in the regions literally got to the low of 1.9. So we actually missed out because I think I put mine at 1.87. Can you believe it? So lesson learned there, that maybe we need to be a bit more rounded on that next time round. But to be honest, like I said, it's not massive differences, but of course any gain is a win. So we've hit that one at least, but it shows you in the sense of the mechanism of when you're thinking about being in that sort of bear momentum, looking back in data like we did in the previous video to really sort of engage and judge some potential opportunities of support and resistance areas. And that comes really mainly from things like price discovery modes, where we have been, of course, quite recently, but there have not been too many touch points around this area. This is why we drew it in, and you can see historically there's some good sort of touch points around this area here back in April, and of course not so much recently. So it was very much in my mind that this would definitely come down to these areas, and that's obviously been proven. So that ticks that box there. We're not always right, of course, but it's all you can do is assess the best you can and do as much research in the chart analysis that you can as well, and just bide your time thinking about it. So, and there's other reflections that we use obviously in the videos as well. Some people use longer RSIs. I use mine on a 2-week basis because I tend to do trade movements along that kind of time frame. Of course, you can adjust that to like 30 days or months, whatever you want to do. But for me, 14 days is a very good indicating time frame. And that's kind of been proven over time as well. I'm just going to adjust this slightly so we can see this properly. So we're still arguably in the bearish momentum, albeit that we've had a little tick going on here, a reversal tick, meaning that we're on our way to try and cross this over into a bullish momentum. Okay, so we've hit the lows as we thought we would, and we did recommend that we would like to try and see between sort of 35 and 30 in an RSI level for us to buy back in, and we managed to get there or thereabouts, so just about on that 34-35 line. We're now trailing ourselves back up to 45. I still think this is a good area of accumulation in my opinion. Obviously we could have a bit of a staggering movement down still, because we are in this phase, albeit that the histogram is going in this pale red color now. So obviously what we want to try and see is a bit of a tail off like we saw here in the 8th to the 11th 12th of November. So that nice little wave effect finishing that off. As you can see, it's not as big as this downturn of overselling back here around the sort of end of October and beginning of November, which in my opinion is really positive. It just means that we're sort of finalizing the corrections really, and I think we're going to have a very strong December, because we've got things like the fiat integration completing hopefully as well, amongst other announcements that will probably come XPR's way. I don't think there'll be any like major sort of exchange announcements this time of the year, but we'll have to see. But I certainly think 2022 is going to bring some fantastic opportunity for XPR Proton. It's a phenomenal project. We talk about it quite a lot. Go and check our intro videos, and if you want to know how to stake as well, you can check that one out. We'll leave those at the end of this video. So loads of things to look forward to. I think as a wallet and a financial offering, it's absolutely fantastic. Of course, with the NFT perspective, the gas fees being pretty much non-existent on both fronts is absolutely phenomenal. But in the macro level, let's just quickly take a look at the movements in the last couple of days. So obviously we've had this retracement down, which has kind of accumulated over a good period of time here from the end of October to now. And what we've seen is this trying to, if I just pull this back up a second, so actually when I narrow this down, you can kind of see it in more of a reflective period. So the narrowing is occurring, which could, in my opinion, indicate that we're not too far off now switching this over into more of a positive momentum. So do you anticipate we might have a bit more of a drop down, perhaps back to this sort of 2.3 cent mark? Possibly. That is not definite, but it's something that we have to consider as we are still in the selling mode. Okay, so it's not fully over just yet, but we're certainly coming to the end of it, in my opinion. So hopefully we can get some stabilization around this 2.3 cent mark, irrespective of whether that's slightly over to 2.4, 2.5 cents. But around this area in general is really important for us to obtain, certainly over the next few days and leading up to the end of the weekend. What you tend to sometimes see over weekend patterns is a bit of a drop down, but we've got things to consider. Of course, it's like payday weekend for most people out there. Psychologically, this is of course something that where people start reflecting and going, oh, actually, this is a price point I want to jump in. Of course, there's general momentum of markets, and there's general momentum as well of market trends as well to think about. So all of these aspects, you've got to think of different variables that go into this kind of movement psychologically. So you may have a bit of a profit taking, as you've had maybe people missing out on these opportunities and thought, oh, I missed the boat. But it comes back up to these sort of levels that traders look out on for retracements, and you might see some patterns down, especially if we might get towards that 3 cent mark. We might get a bit of a retracement and then back up again. But in the long run, I think for December, this is going to have a powerful month. And of course, I do generally believe that the bull run will continue into 2022. That's what the trends are suggesting across the board, especially with the Bitcoin movements as well. We need Bitcoin arguably to have a nice little rally soon, so that then trickles down into the alts, especially things like XPR Proton. But in general, I think like XPR does mostly its own thing anyway. Of course, it has a bit of dictatorship through Bitcoin's movements. But overall, I think it's just such a unique project. It's so early and people are really enthused about it. They've obviously just had the 100,000 accounts opening already on Proton so quickly. And I can only imagine that next year, I'm going to make a prediction right out there right now, that we'll hit XPR Proton wallets to 1 million accounts next year. That's why I'm aiming in my mind. Let us know if you think that's crazy, but I think the momentum is right here. And people will start adopting this more and using it more. That's the key thing to this kind of project. So as long as the awareness keeps going, the roadmap is on continuation, this has got massive legs in it moving forward. So as we mentioned in the previous videos, we're still a bit far off in terms of the previous all-time high, which I believe sits around that 10 cent mark, isn't it? Yeah, that's about it, I think, back before the launch period. So we've got a bit of time to bring ourselves back into that. But look at that. That's very nice to see a bit of retracement. It's gradual, but I feel like we're trying to stabilize around this area, which would be absolutely fantastic to keep ourselves above 2 cents for as long as possible. Build the momentum, build the volume. That's what we need right now, is the volume kicking back in, the confidence kicking back in, and we can take XPR forward. So guys, I'm going to wrap that up there. Thank you so much for watching. Let us know what you think about Proton XPR. What's your end of year prediction and your end of bull run prediction for XPR? Let us know in the comments below. But until the next video, guys, stay safe and we'll see you soon. Bye bye.